The club has a roster with limited player rivals, but there are still some standouts in the squad. The former Ajax and now longtime La Liga keeper Jasper Cillessen has had some injury problems this season, but still holds a crucial squad role. Gabriel Paulista is probably the club's best center back, and longtime player Jose Gaya has been part of Valencia since his youth academy days. The same can be said for Carlos Soler. It's great to see a few players stay loyal to Valencia despite the club's struggles. Maximiliano Gomez was a high-profile arrival from Celta Vigo, but I don't think he's quite lived up to his goal-scoring expectations. Gonzalo Guedes, on the other hand, has been huge for Valencia this season in the double digits for goals and scoring on big occasions. There are a few loan arrivals worth mentioning. The high-potential Spanish winger Bryan Gil joins on loan from Spurs. Hugo Duro also joins from Getafe, and he's proving to be a consistent goal scorer. Moriba should be familiar with La Liga as he was part of Barcelona's youth academy system. He joins on loan from RB Leipzig. In making this a realistic rebuild, I've replicated the club's form heading into the January transfer window. We have seen some progression in the squad's ratings, but some question marks at the striker position. As Duro is in better form, I've decided to give him the nod as our starting right striker over Gomez. That decision seems to be working out in our favor as we try to qualify for European competitions. Taking a look at our board objectives, my focus for Valencia is going to be helping to reduce the club's debt, mostly through player departures, but also making progression by qualifying to competitions like Champions League within 3 seasons, and also developing our youth academy system, starting with a 4-star, 5-star scout, establishing a network in Spain for 9 months to search for any type of player, and with the remaining 62 million, I won't be making any additional rivals as we already have an updated squad file, but I will be signing up another 4-star, 5-star scout. We'll be searching for a technically gifted player, and my motivation for this is that Kang In Lee just left the club on a free transfer. He joined fellow La Liga side Mallorca. It's a shame he didn't reach his peak potential with Valencia, but it seems like we have the next best prospect here with Kim, just 15 years old and already an overall rating of 66. 2 other Spanish players will fill out the rest of our youth academy. Castro, a 61 rated center back with 87 to 93 potential. Corazzo, a 61 rated center back with 71 to 91 potential. But we've got a matchup against Real Betis in the final of Copa del Rey. This is the same matchup that'll happen later in April, the winner securing Europa League qualification for next season. Real Betis is a side that I would argue is on the rise in La Liga and will certainly be a difficult opponent for us in the final of the competition. Here's a look at our path to the final. We've probably had an easier path to this stage, but all that matters now is who can perform better on the day, as Guillamon actually pushes up from the center defensive mid position and nearly sets up an assist. Good start for us as we continue the pressure. Here is Soler with the over-the-top through ball to Guedes, and he will finish the volley to give us the early 1-0 lead 12 minutes in. It's just how we wanted to start, and it's no surprise that the club's top goal scorer this season provides the opener. Will our defense be able to withstand the pressure? We know there are some promising talents in this Betis squad. It is actually going to be Rugani, the center back, who finds the equalizer. Still in the first half here as Correa finds Musa. Did well to get through the challenge, and now it's Duro to go with the left-footed finesse shot. He will also go off the post and in. We finally take the lead here just before the halftime break and looking to make it 3 now with Gaia. Great cross sent in, and it's a huge save from the Betis keeper. Defense helping him out as well to get that off the line. Making a substitution in the 60th minute. It is Gomez to feature. The nice thing about this Valencia squad is that we have a couple of different attackers to choose from at the striker position. And Guedes that serves this one up on a platter for Gomez. How does he miss that one? Should have sealed the match there. And it ends up costing us as Iglesias finds Tejas to make things all level once again. 20 minutes remaining in this match. Who will end up on top? And it just seemed like momentum shifted toward Betis' favor. Very similar to the goal they just scored. There's very little we could have done about that. We made the decision to start Mamardashvili, as he has performed better than Cillessen this season and also has more potential. I'm not sure he's the player to blame for allowing 3 goals, but ultimately, it is a loss in this Copa del Rey final. Taking a look at the standings, top 4 is quite typical to what you might see in a La Liga table. We unfortunately finished 11th, so no European football for us next season. Taking a look at the relegation zone, Celta Vigo with a surprise relegation. Elche and Mallorca will be joining them. And then taking a look at all other competitions, Betis, of course, winning the Copa del Rey final. Manchester City winning Champions League over Bayern. Betis also managed to reach the Europa League final, but Liverpool go on to win that match, and Roma pick up the Europa Conference League. Couple of players in the double digits for goals, but Guedes will lead the way, 17 from 44. It is worth mentioning though, Duro with 14 goals and 4 assists from 39 appearances. I think he's done well enough and gone up enough in his rating to justify returning to the club on a permanent basis. With his loan expiring, I think that's a transfer we might pursue. As for the assist category, it's Soler and Guedes to lead the way with 7 assists each. As a fan of the US men's national team, I have been on a mission to make sure that Musa exceeds the potential he's given in career mode. So far, so good on that note as he goes up +6 to a 79 overall. A slight rise in our manager rating as we head into Season 2 of the rebuild. Overall, I think we exceeded expectations last season to reach the final of Copa del Rey, and the direction I want to take this Valencia save is to focus on some of our up-and-coming youth academy players. As far as board objectives go, we're looking to sign a few Spanish players, which lines up pretty well with a realistic approach toward a Valencia career mode. A surprise though for domestic success, as the board wants us to reach a Champions League qualification spot. Not sure if we'll be able to achieve that, but the 115 million in our transfer budget will certainly help. And I think if any Valencia players do leave the club, it will be Guedes, as he has been the best performer by and far, attracting interest from some of Europe's biggest clubs. Gaia and Soler are the two other players that have the highest evaluation, but because they were part of Valencia's youth academy, I kind of want to build upon the storyline of them being a one-club player for their entire career. I was waiting until we received a realistic offer for Guedes and Manchester United come through with roughly a 90 million bid. We'll turn that into a 9-digit sum. 100 million is the fee that he'll be leaving for. Also looking to part ways with Jasper Cillessen, still pretty good as a keeper, but I think with how well Mamardashvili has performed for Valencia, they might go with him moving forward. Hugo Duro quickly became one of my favorite players in this rebuild, not only for his great name, but also an interesting career path. Like many players, I would say he's had more luck since he left Real Madrid. Still plenty of time ahead in his career, just 22 years old, and if he can continue the goal-scoring form that he had last season, he will be a big player for us at Valencia, joining the club for 40 million. It's a lot to pay, but since we have so much remaining in our transfer budget, that won't be a problem. Also taking a look at one of the relegated clubs from La Liga last season, Celta Vigo. Have a few high potential players, but Tapia stood out to me as a promising center defensive mid. He might go up a few more in his rating, and he will establish a role for us in the center of the park. Also, a really good deal here, only joining for 33.7 million, which is understandable considering the situation with Celta Vigo being relegated. Finally, we're going to turn towards a player that I'm familiar with from my Sporting rebuild that I did a few weeks ago. Gonzalo Plaza is spending the 21-22 season on loan at Valladolid. I could definitely see him staying in Spain as a high potential player. He can play a part in this rebuild, only joining for a 30 million fee, actually less than his current evaluation, and we're going to use a development plan changing him to a left winger, giving him a +1 in his overall rating. As we continue looking for youth academy players, we'll set up another network in Spain for 9 months looking for any type of player, and then Portugal to search for a technically gifted talent. We'll begin our La Liga campaign against last season's opponent in the Copa del Rey final, Real Betis. As we take a look at the squad, I quickly wanted to talk about some restrictions that La Liga has for foreign players. I believe you're allowed to have 5 non-EU players in your club, only 3 of which can feature on any given match day. Keep in mind there are a few players with dual nationality in the club, and I'm going to make an effort to make sure that any gameplay we feature only has 3 non-EU players. But you might notice that Guillamon is now a center back for us. I thought that would be a welcome addition because I believe that is the position he played last FIFA, and it's actually going to give him a +1 in his overall. But we'll see how results have gone up until the January transfer window. We are 6th place in La Liga, which is an improvement upon last season. A few players starting to stand out in our starting 11, but I definitely wanted to add some more squad depth. And fulfill our objective of signing 2 Spanish players, we already brought in Hugo Duro on a permanent basis. Now we're going to add an ex-La Liga player in Javier Ontaveros. He is playing in the 2nd division of Spain. Looks to have some decent potential though, 25 years old, 77 overall, and similar to what we did with Plaza, we'll make him a more attacking-minded player as a left winger, which for 17.5 million is hardly going to make a dent in our transfer budget. Dennis Cheryshev is probably past his prime, but still has a few years left in him as he joins Espanyol for a 6.5 million transfer fee. We'll see if the improvements we've made to the squad can make the difference for us as we approach the end of the season. We have actually reached the final of Copa del Rey in consecutive years. A more difficult opponent though for the final as we match up against Real Madrid. It will be a crucial fixture because European qualification is again not guaranteed by our league performance. If anything's going our way, there are some stamina issues in the Madrid squad. squad, you can notice some of their older players like Toni Kroos and Karim Benzema significantly lower on their stamina. With that said, we'll need to bring our A game if we want to see a different result here in Season 2, needing to learn from last season's failures and look to build some momentum in this rebuild. It did not take long though for Madrid to provide an attacking threat, Benzema holding up the ball, and the pressure from Madrid was too much for us to handle. Rakic got the nod to start due to a suspension from one of our other midfielders, and as a result of his mistake, it's Madrid to take the lead. Can't ask for much easier of a goal, and we'll need to look to respond as Soler finds the through ball pass, and it is Hugo Duro that gets fouled inside the box. Just a yellow card for Skriniar, the Madrid defender. It was certainly a foul, as it was a clear goal scoring chance, could have even been a red. But the important thing is that we're able to convert from this penalty kick. We will of course do that with the green time finish, and Soler, the man for set pieces, will find the leveler just before the halftime break as we get into the second half now. Gomez with the over the top through ball seems to be working out for us, but it's a big save from Courtois. He is able to just make himself a huge presence by closing down the space, and very similar efforts as we get into the later minutes, making a substitution as Ontaveros will feature for the first time for us. I would say that the changes worked out in our favor. Some fresh legs changed the momentum of things as Yunus Musa, the American talent, looked to find the pass in the middle. It's cleared away initially, but we're going to get the ball back to Musa, and I thought, why not have a go on his weak foot? You can't ask for much more than that to go ahead. It's going to be goal of the rebuild, and I couldn't have asked for a better player to score it. The finesse shot finding the upper hand corner. That goal did end up being the decider. It's our first bit of silverware in this rebuild, and more importantly, it's secured qualification for European competitions next season. It ended up being a crucial victory as we'll only finish 7th place in the Liga, still making progress from last year and starting to make strides for where we want to be. Relegation spots go to Leganés, Espanyol, and Cadiz. We saw that victory in the Copa del Rey final against Real Madrid, losing out in the semi-finals of the Supercopa with Real Madrid winning that competition. Bayern München again reaching the final Champions League, but winning it this time around against Chelsea. It's Atletico Madrid to win Europa League. Another Spanish winner for Conference League as Real Sociedad defeats Sporting. Maxi Gomez stepped up in a big way this year, by and far the top goal scorer for the club, 19 goals from 43 appearances. Musa leading the way alongside Duro for assists. And we'll be watching our South Korean Youth Academy talent, Kim, very closely as he goes up +5 in his overall during a loan spell. A few other additions to our senior squad as Beroa joins as a 68 rated center back, 87 to 93 potential. Munoz is a 66 rated center midfielder, 82 to 94 potential. And Lopez, the only Portuguese talent that we managed to find, 61 overall, 88 to 94 potential. For once in these rebuilds, our manager rating is holding steady, and it's Europa League football for us in Season 3. Our plans are starting to fall in line. The decision to focus more on developing our younger players has paid off, and now that we have Europa League to offer, I think we can bring in some more talent to the squad. For domestic success, again, we're trying to finish in a Champions League spot, and for Europa League, expectations for us to win the competition. Here's a look at our group. I don't think we'll have any problems in the group stage as we have Dynamo Zagreb, Midtjylland, and Shamrock Rovers. Pretty similar transfer budget to last season, a little bit less than 150 million. And again, even if we are making progress in this rebuild, I still think it's important to let players go from time to time. Maxi Gomez hasn't lived up to expectations at Valencia, so maybe a departure is the best thing for him. And if ever a time to let him go, it's probably when he's just had a good goal-scoring season as he departs for 60 million to AS Roma. We'll look to sign a fellow Uruguayan striker and someone that is playing again for a relegated side in La Liga. And Darwin Nunez is going to be an exceptional talent for us to bring in. Of course, he's got great potential in career mode, and he's linked to a number of top European side in the upcoming transfer window, but we're going to sign him for 55 million, which, all things considered, isn't that much more than his current evaluation. That was the only signing of the summer transfer window as we begin our season against UD Almeria. Here is the squad, and as long as Mamardashvili increases in his overall, we're going to have every single one of our players in the starting 11 have an 80 overall or higher. We'll see how things have gone for us January 2024, and an exceptional outing for us in La Liga. We're actually in the running for the league title, equal on points with Barcelona, And for the Europa League group stage, we of course finished top of our group. That was the expectation. Now we need to continue making progress in the knockout stages. I don't think we need to improve our starting 11, but we do need to continue looking towards the future. Paulista is getting on in age, and with all the transfer history that Valencia and Sporting have, I don't think it would be a bad idea for us to sign one of their top center backs. Gonzalo Ignacio has been linked to a move to the Premier League, specifically Newcastle, but I don't think a departure to Spain would be unrealistic. Only 32.5 million for the transfer fee. I feel like he started to stagnate in his overall at Sporting, so now's probably the time for him to leave. Manu Valeo will be going in the opposite direction from Spain to Portugal as he joins one of Sporting's rivals, Benfica, for 15 million. The squad is future-proof. Now we just need to get the results to show for it. Round of 16 fixture in Europa League, and it's a difficult opponent. Sociedad proved difficult to score goals against, but we'll get a winning result in the first leg and a 1-1 outing in the second leg, putting us through 2-1 on aggregate up against Wolfsburg in the quarterfinals. Definitely an unfamiliar opponent for us, and I think that showed in the results, as the first leg wasn't very eventful, but we're going to lose out courtesy of an 89th minute winner for the Wolfsburg striker, Correa. That did allow us to focus more on the league, and fortunately, we will secure qualification for Champions League next year. 4th place, just 1 point ahead of Getafe. The relegation spot's going to Malaga, Girona, and Eibar. And considering that Girona finished 19th in the league, I was shocked to see Stuani had the second most goals in La Liga. That has to be one of the best goal outputs for a 37-year-old, 70-rated striker. Reviewing all competitions, we actually do secure some silverware this season with a back-to-back victory in the Copa del Rey competition, defeating Real Madrid in extra time 4-2. Semi-final exit for us in Supercopa as Real Sociedad win that one. Chelsea again featuring in back-to-back Champions League finals. They will pick up the win against Real Madrid 1-0. We of course saw that quarterfinal exit in Europa League, and Manchester United going on to defeat Monaco, with Inter winning Conference League against Sevilla. With the departure of Maxi Gomez, that allowed Hugo Duro to shine. +2 in his overall, 25 goals from 54 appearances. Also good numbers from Soler and Nunez in his debut season. Soler actually leading the way in assists, 15 from 55. And we're still keeping on with the Kim watch, +3 as he spends the season on loan at West Ham. As far as board objectives go, we saw a slight drop just because of that slightly early exit in Europa League. While we made a fair effort, a 79 rated goalkeeper is not going to cut it for Champions League, so I think that will be the area of improvement for Season 4. As far as board objectives, similar to previous seasons, as we look to sign a Spanish player, also expectations for us to win the league title, win the Copa de España, aka Copa del Rey, and also reach the final of Champions League. But we are going to see a big rise in our transfer budget, roughly 250 million. And I think we have a favorable draw in our Champions League group. Obviously, Bayern are going to be contenders to win the whole thing, like they have in previous seasons of this rebuild. Marseille are an alright opponent, but Midtjylland, I think, are likely going to finish bottom of the group. Now, to fulfill the Spanish signing, there are a few decent goalkeepers around. Kepa has the backup role at Chelsea, also had a contract nearing its end, so we were able to pick him up on a fairly decent price tag, 25.8 million, just slightly above his current evaluation of 25 million. And another trend that Valencia tend to follow is signing players from Liga of France. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of high potential options at this stage of career mode, but we've got a former Liga player in Amin Adli. He's made the transfer to Bayer Leverkusen in recent seasons. I also want to make an effort to sign at least one French player in this rebuild, as he joins as a squad rotational striker. Quite an expensive fee of 50 million, but I think it's necessary. We need that squad depth for Champions League. On the other hand, I wanted to let some non-EU players out of the club to, again, look for some more realism, as Tapia leaves to Leicester City for 55 million, and Marcos Andre joins Mönchengladbach over in Germany for 17.5 million. Because we brought in a higher rated keeper, I think Marmardashvili will be sent out on loan. We have that transfer history with Mönchengladbach now, as he joins for a 2-year loan spell. And again, we'll kick off our season against Almeria. Here is the starting 11. It's looking more and more like a Champions League contending side, and we'll see if we've got the results to show for it, as we check in January 2025. Not as good of a performance in the league, but still a decent outing, 5th place. Some surprises in our Champions League group. First off, we finished top of the group, but Bayern, really a disappointing outing, only 5 points to show for it as Marseille finished 2nd. I don't think it's necessary for us to make any additional signings to the team. It's already a young Valencia side, and we're only going to go up in our overall ratings. So we'll get into the round of 16 fixture against Inter. First leg ends up in our favor. It's Darwin Nunez to score a brace to give us a 2-0 result. 2-2 in the second leg puts us through to the quarterfinals against RB Leipzig. We end up winning more of these fixtures than not. They're just easy to play against for interactive match sim and just simulations in general in career mode, as things end 5-1 on aggregate. Semifinals will be against Liverpool, who haven't performed the best in this rebuild so far. They have a Europa League title to show for it, and while they were a quality opponent, we'll end up in front 4-2 on aggregate and into the Champions League final against PSG. But just like I did in my last video with Borussia Dortmund, I'm not going to be stopping the rebuild here. I want to make sure that we're the top team in Spain as well. So regardless of results, we're going to go another season because I want a La Liga title. With that said, Champions League is a big objective I'm looking to check off for this Valencia save, as they have been runners-up a few times in the past. It's time for them to lift their first Champions League title. PSG are a strong side, but some of their players, like Leo Messi, no longer in the starting 11, so I think we've got a fair shot here. And we will actually get the first highlight of the match. It's Musa down the right side. We've seen this so often, and he does well to actually draw the foul. I get so annoyed when players stagger like Musa did right there and go on to continue their play, not forcing a penalty kick, but he makes the decision to give us the chance in front of goal. It was the right decision in the end, as Soler ends up putting us in the top right corner. Gianluigi Donnarumma going the wrong direction, so we've got the early lead in this Champions League final. Will we be able to build off this momentum, or are we going to see defensive struggles like we have in previous finals? Well, it's an own goal to show for it. Soler provided the goal for us, and he's going to get the own goal as well. It's just unfortunate stuff. Kepa on his near post, I don't think he has as good a reactions as he needed to in order to stop that one, but we look for the immediate response. It's Nunez who just turns the defender. He's so good in front of goal, and this was really my first time using him in career mode this year. Glad I got the opportunity because I think he's going to be a more popular signing in some of my personal saves. But Hugo Duro, you know him well, and he has really good intelligence to set up Soler for his brace. Could have easily gone solo, but I'll take the guaranteed goal every single time. As we approach the halftime break, it's Neymar who could have brought things a lot closer, but it ends up being another chance for us. Nunez off the post could have given us a 3-goal lead, but we're going to try to get it here. It's Duro to play the cross to Nunez. A big stop in the end from Donnarumma. Fair play to him. I mean, he has had some questionable outings in Champions League this season, but in this match, he stepped up in a big way. We just were too good on the attacking front, and there's only so much a goalkeeper can do. As Duro gives us the 4-1 lead, things are pretty much sealed here, but Kepa pulling off a big save, stepping up to the occasion as he blocks that effort from Hakimi. Final highlight, this is some poor defending from my end as Mbappe will get a consolation goal. It's 4-2 for the final result, but throughout this rebuild, our attackers have been the highlight of the team, and that was showcased here as we pick up what I would argue is the most important trophy of this Valencia rebuild, and now we can focus on La Liga. We already know how the top of the table ended. Atletico Madrid with another La Liga title. For the relegation spots, Celta Vigo, they just haven't done well so far as they get sent back down to the Segunda Division. Cadiz and Deportivo Alaves joining them. Another semifinals exit in the Supercopa for us as Real Madrid win that competition. Sociedad defeat us in the Copa del Rey final. We, of course, win Champions League. Arsenal will pick up Europa League with a 2-0 victory against Wolves, and Porto with a 2-0 victory against Roma in Conference League. Darwin Nunez, what a player he was in that Champions League final. What a player he was in Season 4. 35 goals from 56 appearances. Some incredible numbers there. Same thing for Soler, 17 assists along with Plata with roughly the same amount of appearances. And I think it's safe to say that Kim is ready to be at least a squad rotational, if not first team player. He's up to an 80 overall, just 19 years old, plus he has that loan expiring at season's end with West Ham. Our manager rating still holding steady. Big expectations for us though in Season 5. Being this far into career mode, we've got to bring in some of the best talents around the world if we want to compete for a La Liga title. And now a Champions League winning side, I think we'll have no problem with some of those talks. Take a look at our board objectives. We again need to finish in a Champions League spot, so surprisingly our expectations aren't as difficult this season. However, our Champions League group will be a tough test. We've got Dortmund, Napoli, and Spartak Moscow. I think everyone in that group has a fair chance of advancing to the knockout stages. 325 million in our transfer budget. But I think at this stage in Musa's career, he has grown to be an exceptional player. We've seen a lot of high potential Americans eventually make the transfer to the Premier League, and we're going to follow that trend here. I wasn't expecting Southampton to be the team he goes to, but for over 100 million, they clearly have the cash, and maybe they can turn to a force in England. To be honest, the main reason I decided to let him go is so that at least one of our youth academy players can feature in the starting 11. Kim has potential to be special, and although his overall rating is lower, he might be able to exceed Musa by the time this career mode's done. We're going to keep the transfers going though, as Yuri Tielemans joins in the midfield. The 4-star skill move, 5-star weak foot player will feature right alongside Soler. 87 overall for his rating, 100 million for the transfer fee, and he is going to be our marquee signing of this season. We are, however, going to run into the first release clause being met so far in the save. It was an unexpected one as Wolves pay up 52.3 million to sign Kepa. To be fair, he has increased in his overall, and as a Champions League winning goalkeeper, I'm not surprised some clubs are interested. That does open up the option for us to bring David De Gea to the club. There were some rumors last season that he was going to join a Spanish side on loan for Manchester United. Still at an 87 overall, we're going to bring him in for 15 million. And maybe the goalkeeper improvement will prove the difference for us for league results as we kick off the season against Arsenal in the UEFA Super Cup, winning that fixture courtesy of a debut goal from Tielemans. And now we can get into the La Liga action. Here is the starting 11. Kim already growing in his rating, so maybe our decision will pay off. But there's only one way to find out. Results in January 2026 will see us top of the La Liga table by a fair margin, 8 points clear of the next best side. In Champions League, we also managed to advance. Took until the final match day, but we finished 2 points clear of Napoli's second place in the group. We've done a good job balancing this Valencia team. We've got some veteran players in the side like De Gea, who is starting to drop slightly in his rating, but nothing too bad. And then Kim has gone up +3 since we last checked, up to an 84 overall. But we've got round of 16 fixtures to consider in Champions League. Bayern will be our first opponent. We matched against them in Champions League group stage last year, and they failed to advance. They again are going to see an early exit in the competition because of a big 2-0 outing in the second leg, courtesy of a late winner from Ontiveros. That'll put us up against Borussia Dortmund in the quarterfinals. First leg ends 3-2, second leg ends in a 0-0 draw, and semifinals will match us against Chelsea, another team that has had success in this rebuild. 0-0 the first leg, 3-2 in the second leg. We're seeing some, again, late winners to put us through to the final of the competition against Manchester City. Having already won Champions League, I decided not to feature gameplay this time around. It goes into extra time, but Ruben Diaz and Phil Foden provide the winners for City. To make up for that, though, we do finish top of the La Liga table. Real Madrid with a late charge, but we finish 5 points clear of them. Also winning the Super Copa this season, meaning that's 3 trophies for us. We nearly reached the final of Copa del Rey each and every season, but we see a semifinals exit this time against Real Sociedad, who go on to win the competition. For Europa League, it's Sporting to defeat Napoli 2-1 in the final, and Eintracht Frankfurt defeating Getafe in Conference League. Darwin Núñez has established himself as the top striker in this Valencia team and also the top striker in La Liga, leading the way in goals, and Tielemans with the most assists in his first season at the club. Worth noting that De Gea also had the most clean sheets, so some of our new additions really proved the difference, continuing in that theme with Kim, +8 in his overall to an 88 rating. I'm glad with our decision to start him. But our manager rating ends exactly where it started, an 80 overall. But I want to thank you all for watching this Valencia